Conversations with Selena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Selena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Selena. If this is your first time, I just want to welcome you. You are in for a treat on tonight. And if you're returning, you know that I love you so much. Thank you for your love and your support on this journey. So like the video said, this is the talk show podcast that gives inspiration, motivation, and information. And I can guarantee you that on tonight, you're going to get a little bit of all of that. I am just elated on tonight about the guest that I have. The very first time we spoke, it's like I have been knowing her my entire life. So it's so nice to have a new sister, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. I'm just going to read a little bit about her, and then I'm going to bring her on stage. So Miss Alina is a visionary co-founder, licensed practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, and an experienced hypnotherapist with a rich 35-year background in healthcare, mental health, and business entrepreneurship. Don't we need a little bit of all of that? All of that. Okay. She is a beacon of inspiration and a multifaceted professional. She excels as a success coach, need a little bit of that, author, we could read a little bit more, and a dynamic motivational speaker committed to empowering individuals in their personal and professional journeys. So welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage, Miss Alina. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
It's almost like our names rhyme too.
Alina Selena.
That's my sister, y'all. That's my sister. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm going to say welcome, and I'm also going to say happy birthday weekend to you. Happy birthday month to you, because if you're like me, you celebrate all week, all month, all year. You know, this is at our age, we have learned to celebrate life, and we're trying to help the younger people that's coming behind us, teach them to let things go, teach them to enjoy life. Teach them, what it is that they need to be successful. And it sounds like just from the short bio that I did read, because it went on and on, but I made it a short bio, that you are successful and you are a success coach. So tell us a little bit about just what you offer and how you started in this business. Because, baby, I'm rich. I'm successful. I'm speaking what I want. I'm being look, I can't even say I'm being specific. I play too much. I'm successful. I'm being specific. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am what I say I am.
Absolutely. So I started in my wellness path 14 years ago. I woke up one day and I realized that there must have been more to it than what I was having. Not really materialistic, but it was more emotional. I had been taking care of my mom for years. She had plenty of health issues. So I had been taking care of her, single parent with 3 kids, and it was a lot. So like I said, one day I thought, I got to do something. And I did not know where to start. So the easiest place to start is with acupuncture. So I started with an acupuncturist. Yeah. And he was amazing. And I'm needlephobic. So for me to go to acupuncture, where the space that I was in. And so, I
Ooh,
realized,
child, hold
yeah.
up, hold up. You done lost me with the. So they really put all them needles in your. Oh.
In my head and everything. It was just yes, yes. But that just lets you know how pretty much desperate I was, and for seeking,
Wow.
emotional wellness. Really, that's really what I wanted, was just to be emotionally free. And so, yes, I started with the acupuncturist, and little by little, he introduced me like to different modalities, and you know, I did taekwondo or something, that was supposed to relax me, and yeah. So, and I mean, I did Bikram yoga. I did it all except inner work. I did not know where to start. So even though I worked mental health for years,
Mm-hmm.
I still did not know where to start. So then I did get a behavioral specialist that I started, working with, and that's really when everything started surfacing. The childhood trauma, what I was waiting for, the recognition that I was waiting for, what I would have wanted my parents to say to me. And, so that's when I started the whole journey. I started accepting, I started letting go. It wasn't easy. Sometimes things would come up and I didn't want to deal with it. And I'm like, not today. We'll put it off to another day. Because sometimes during sessions, too many things came up.
Mm-hmm.
And, I needed to digest it. So, yeah, and then I started, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I knew that I didn't want to be on all that medication, and I knew what the medicines could do to my body, not only my physical health, but also my mental health. Then I started practicing, pretty much Eastern medicine. That's when I became a neurolinguistic programming practitioner, which that's really to be able to reprogram yourself in your mind to use positive words instead of negative words, and to be able to ask for what you really want versus like what you settle for. And that's really
So
what
it's
that's
really
about.
what you're speaking. Is that what you're saying? Basically,
Yes.
it's what you're speaking over your
Yes.
life.
Right. So reframing what you're speaking. And like, let's just say, if you say, maybe, there's no maybe about it. You either do want it or you don't want it. Yeah. And
Yes.
so and then there's also that whole I think, no, you believe it. So you got to believe it to be able to achieve it. And like I tell people, information is not transformation. So if you want the transformation, you have to do the work. You have to do the inner work, and decide at what point enough is enough. And decide at what point Googling it, because I love the fact that, people, well, I could find it on Google, and right now it's at AI. Yeah, but it's not on a one-on-one basis, and you don't have that personal, that emotional side
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Wow. You said a lot. Let me
I
see.
know. Let me take a breath.
Let me see
Ooh.
where. Ooh, I need to digest this for a minute. I'm gonna let everybody else let it marinate for a second. So definitely with the words, I want to start there because I you wouldn't be able to tell it, but I loved English. Something happened with me in the writing, right?
Mm.
And I tried to figure it out myself. So the only thing that I think the reason why I had such a difficult time writing, and I tell this story, basically I wrote a love letter. I lost the love letter, someone else found it, and they passed it around from person to person to person to person to person, and they teased me and they made fun of me, and it was just like it probably went on for a week at school, but it seemed like it just went on forever. And now when I pick up a pen and I try to write something, I get writer's block. If I try to trick my brain and I record it, my brain knows like you're really just trying to trick me, but it's not working. And I think that's where it came from,
Mm-hmm.
the writer's block. But I do love English and I do love words. And I have learned to be very careful with my words because um, I have a friend who says she's never said that she was broke. She said, I never use
Mm-hmm.
those words. And
Yeah.
she's not broke and she's not ever broke. And that's what she told me. And I'm speaking her words because she does not use that terminology. But when you use certain things like that, oh, my broke best friends, now that's what people are saying about their kids. And I used that phrase a couple times and I was like, what are you speaking over your children? Like, they're
Yeah.
not your broke best friends. We
Right.
all rich.
Yeah.
But right before we went live, one thing that you told me, do I really believe that though? Do I really, am I just you saying lip service? So it's not
Yeah.
just the words, it's the belief that's deep down
And the emotions that you put behind it.
and
And
the
that's
emotion.
yeah, and that's
Mhm.
exactly right. When you're talking about the writer's block, any incident that happened to us in childhood, we carry it with us for the rest of our life unless we're able to work through it.
Mhm.
So, I consider like little folders. So everything that happens from the moment that you're born, good or bad, these are these little folders that your brain is saving. So your amygdala remembers all of that. So you notice when you could face a situation and all of a sudden, like, you could just like get all freaked out about it, and you're like, well, where did that come from? It's something that happened to you in childhood. And
Mhm.
so you're just holding on to that subconsciously. And what I love the most about what you said about the writing, that's exactly what happened. So now that you're older, you might look back and you're like, but I was what, in the fifth grade? Did that happen in the fifth grade?
That we were actually in junior high.
Ah, okay. So, at
So
that
maybe
time,
the seventh grade, maybe.
yeah, and at that time, we're super vulnerable. Like, we're in junior high school, hormones are going crazy. We really want to be accepted. So there's a lot going on. So for that to have happened to you, so how do we work through it?
Mhm.
Do we use hypnosis? Because I'm loving me some hypnosis. Is it talk therapy that you need? So to decompress it, I want to give you a little example. So I had been manifesting for 20 years that I wanted to meet Les Brown. Do you know who he is?
Mhm.
Okay, so I've
Are you
always
hungry? You got to
okay.
be hungry.
I have always referred to him as Uncle Les, always. And people are like, he's really your uncle? No, I don't even know him. So I had the opportunity to go to his 70th birthday party. And
Okay.
so I was invited. Oh my gosh, I was super excited. You have no idea. And so from there, his daughter asked me if I wanted to do a book with her. And
Okay.
so I said yes. Of course, I
Yes,
said
of
yes,
course. We
right?
saying yes and amen because
Yes. So I started writing my chapter, and then I sent it to the editor. Well, the editor had a major in psychology. Actually, he was a psychologist, and he decided he no longer wanted to hear people's problem. So he started editing. He comes back to me and he said, your biggest problem is your mom. I was Where did that come from? My story had nothing to do with my mom, so I was feeling super, super offended that he said that. I
Mhm.
went 2 weeks without talking to him. And I said, I don't want anything to do with him. And I even said to Ona, can we get another editor? And she said, why? I said, oh, because he said my problem is my mom. My story has nothing to do with my mom. And so it had everything to do with my mom, but I wasn't willing to accept it. So as I
Wow.
was talking to my mentor, and it did come up, I was like, okay, so let me call the man 2 weeks later and tell him, oh, you know what? Let's
You're
look into
right.
this. Yeah, exactly. So, it's things that we do not know, we're not aware of. And sometimes it's really hard for us to accept the truth.
Mhm.
So, we sugarcoat it or we put a different spin on it, but the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. And so what is the name of the book? Because we want to make sure.
Oh, it's Own Your Dreams. And it's a collaboration. Yeah. Yep. Own your dreams.
Own your dreams. Okay. Yeah, I want to read that.
Yeah. And so, I talk about my journey coming from Cuba and not knowing that I was leaving my friends, my family, my pets. I had no idea. As far as we knew, we were going on a train ride from Santiago to Havana. So it wasn't, oh, we're going to come back. That's what I believed until we got on the plane. And then we realized, we're not coming back. So that just developed into so many other things that actually came out as an adult. And I remember when I started working mental health, I was in my early 20s, and one of the psychologists told me, when you turn 40, this is going to kick your behind. And I thought, what is wrong with her? There's nothing wrong with me. I mean, really, you? And I kid you not, I have never forgotten her words or her face. Because in my early 40s is when I was completely tripping. I'm like, I've been doing fine all this time and all of a sudden, but that's really when it's resurfaced.
Because it's gonna manifest itself.
Absolutely.
If it's not dealt with. And so you have to go through that pain. You have to go through that process, or else it's going to show up. And we say that all the time on all of our episodes. It seems like, to me, it doesn't matter what the conversation is. Mental health is one of the main topics. And I guess that's kind of what this platform is based on, the mental health and having good mental health after you've come out of this dark place and, not really understanding and realizing you had so many issues that had not been resolved, have not been dealt with, have not been talked about, because in some cases you have to deal with it alone. Because the person that you have the issues and problems and unforgiveness and hurt feelings from, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to address it. And so it's a journey that you kind of have to take alone. You and God have to go down this road, and a therapist, once you are ready, to talk about it, a therapist is really good as well.
Yeah, it's a lonely journey if you don't have a good support group. And, and when I decided to go through mine, I really didn't, because it wasn't something that we spoke about as I was growing up. As a matter of fact, mental health was very taboo. It's like we could fix everything at home. My mom was able to fix everything with a can of what, and so it was that or the sandals, which one do you want? And so, that's how I grew up like that. And so when I decided that I wanted to start my journey of clarity and healing, I didn't have anybody to support me. Like you said, only the therapist. And there was time that things would come up during the session, but you have that person there, and then you go home, or on the way home, everything just comes up. All the emotions come up. And then you're by yourself, and it's okay. So now what? So now you have to process it. That's where I learned to journal. I've never been before that, but at one point I just had to start writing everything down, because I needed to get it off my chest. And so that's how, it's funny now. I look back, and because I've kept all my journals, and I just found one that I was writing in 2017. The difference is like night and day.
Wow. That's definitely one of the things that we've been encouraged to do, which is journal. Get it off of you when you're feeling anxious about something, even if you're not a journaler. Pick up a journal, pick up a book, a notebook, a paper towel, whatever you can find, and write whatever is causing that anxiety. Get it off of you, get it on the paper, and that in itself helps. And even, I was talking about looking for an EMDR therapist, where you're replacing things, and then that also incorporates like tapping and doing different things in order to release the stress and the
Yeah.
anxiety. So there are different things to do. I have a whole prayer closet now. I'm in the prayer closet, laying on my face before the Lord, sometimes not even getting a prayer out before I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But it's a safe space for me
Right.
now that I have created, and there's notebooks and pens right there. So if something comes up, and it can go ahead and come out, because those therapists, I tell you, they're good, but sometimes the first 15 minutes is just a little chit chat, and you only have 45 minutes. And so by the time you get in it good and the emotions start flowing and you feel like it's breakthrough time, they're not trying to tear it with you like the man at the altar going to tear it with you so you can get it all out. It's like, yes, well, thank you so much for coming. Your time is up. We'll see you this same time next week. And it's like, really? This what we ending? This how we ending?
In working with them, I could tell you, I mean, not only as a client or as a patient, but working with them, being a support for them. When I started working mental health, I could tell you that they're under a lot of stress themselves because, you only have really 50 minutes to talk about what's going on with your patient. And then the other 10 minutes, you have to do the charting. And they see patients on the hour constantly. That's one of the reasons why I believe that, getting a coach would work if that's your concern. And it is a concern. I remember you talked about EMDR, and I did that with my psychologist, and it was just like that. I mean, she brought me back to the room, and then it's like, okay, so next time could be a month down the line. And so, she did say, well, write whatever comes up. It's still, so what do we do with it, with the feeling that I'm having right now? So, and shameless plug, I did write Pearl of Wisdom for the Soul, which is a journal. And what I did with this journal is I put the sayings that my mom used to tell me when I was young and nothing made sense. Like you can't cover the sun with your finger, and then you're trying to do it like this, trying to figure out what is it that she's talking about. So I put all those sayings and then some of the quotes that I have come up with and some quotes from other people. And what it is just to help you break it down. I was super specific. Pearl of Wisdom for your soul.
Pearl of Wisdom.
Yes. And so, it's something like at the beginning of the day, what is your affirmation? And I give you an affirmation. And then, how will I apply this quote today? And then at the end of the day, how did I apply it? Is it something that helped me? Do you know somebody else that could use it? Because sometimes, like you said, you start writing and you don't even know what to write. And then we start judging ourselves. Well, it has to make sense. Well, it has to be, spelled correctly. And then everything that you learn in school comes up. No,
just
you
get
just
it, write it down.
Yeah, I call it brain dumping. You just write whatever comes to your mind, you write. And then, later on you could interpret it or whatnot, but you got to get it on the paper.
That's funny. Later on, go back, because sometimes I'm scratching stuff so fast. I'm like, what was I trying to say right there? Because it's just a bunch of chicken scratch. But you are correct. You just get it off of you and don't worry about the spelling. Don't worry about all of the English grammar.
All the judging, because we are our worst critic.
We are our worst critic.
So
pronunciation, that's what I was trying to think of. You're trying to worry about all that. Just write it all down and go back and clean it up later. Just write.
And if you're bilingual,
that's really good. I'm gonna have to ask you some questions about your journal, because I wanted to also get a journal together for myself too, just not only for me, but produce it myself, I guess, so that others can benefit from it as well. Because if it helped you, it'll help someone else. And that's the whole thing about sharing our journey. It's not just for us, it's for us to be a blessing and to help other people along their walk from what we've learned. And I definitely take L's as a lesson and not a loss. And that's one major thing that I've learned.
When we're going through it, our belief is that we're the only person going through it.
Exactly.
Nobody else. I'm the only one, and there are millions of people out there that are going through the same thing that we're going through. And if we don't talk about it, how do we know? And that's why one of the things that, support groups are so good. And I don't mean go to AA or whatnot. If you have to go to AA, go to AA. But what I mean is have a good tribe. And it's not in numbers, is in value. It doesn't make any difference for you to have 5 people around you when 4 of them are negative. Have one that is positive and has the same mindset as you do, because you guys are only going to enrich one another.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Well, this was so good to me. I cannot wait for us to get back together. I know we have so much to talk about, but it is your birthday month, and I am excited for you to get out and celebrate.
Thank you.
We're going to use this one as like an advertisement, as a teaser, so that way we can do it again and have take questions and a Q&A time frame. And I think it's going to be just fantastic. That way you can share a little bit more about the business coaching and the services that you offer, because this world that we live in, it's a virtual world. Yeah. I don't have to be in California, Illinois. I don't have to be anywhere except a click away, and we can connect. It's not the same, but it's what we're working with now, and it works. And as long as we can do it successfully, then that's what we need to do, because, the people that I'm connected to, we cheer each other on.
Absolutely.
We want everyone to be successful. Like when we touch them, they're going to be gold, baby.
That's it.
We're connected, and it's like being connected with gold. Everything we touch shall prosper.
They're going to say, Oprah who?
Who you talking about?
Oh, you mean Alina and Selena? That's who you mean.
It's Alina. That's what you meant, with their own network.
Exactly. I love
their personal jet.
Okay.
Chauffeur, maid, cook, all of that. Well, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy your time. And thank you all for joining us tonight. This is another episode of Conversations with Selena, and we will see you all later. Go share a smile and spread some sunshine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.